Hello everyone. Welcome back to the HCBS Community of Practice. Today we will be talking about HCBS requirement number 8. If you have not already, please know there is a HCBS final rule video that will go into the entirety of the final rule, discuss briefly all 10 requirements. But this video is all about what is HCBS requirement number 8. What does it mean? And what are some questions that you as a provider can ask yourself or ask as a team to evaluate how you are doing within this requirement? I also want to highlight that HCBS requirement number 8 is for residential providers. Typically within the requirements number 1 through 5 pertain to all service providers, whereas 6 through 10 are specifically for residential services and supports. If we look at HCBS requirement number 8, there are many things that go into this requirement. And this is individuals have the freedom and support to control their schedules and activities and have access to food at any time. So whereas it reads simplistic, there are many contributing factors that go into this requirement. So we want to make sure that the person has the freedom to control their own schedule. That means what are they doing throughout the week, throughout the day, what activities are they participating in, and then access to food at any time. Does the person have access within common areas of their house? Do they have a voice in what they eat, what they purchase, and access to those foods at any time? As you can tell, there's a lot that goes into that. So we really want to look at what is happening within the home. How is the person involved in their life? Even if you have 4 people living in a home, how are the roommates coming together to decide maybe what's on the menu for the week or for the day, or I've heard for the month. So it's all about really discovering what the person's preferences are with activities, community, and food, and then finding a way to capture that information in a way that provides choice for the person. Within the one-page attachment that you have below, it will go into what we just spoke to as far as the language around HCBS requirement number 8. But it also asks some questions that providers can look at and evaluate with their teams, with their organization on how are we doing with HCBS requirement number 8. And these questions are really an invitation to look at what is working, what isn't working. Are there opportunities to do our work differently or to enhance what we are currently doing? I'd like to take a few moments to briefly go over these questions in the video, and then we'll talk about what skills or tools can support people within HCBS requirement number 8. So if we look at the questions in the packet that we provided, the first question is, do people have access to food at any time? It's really making sure that the foods that the person wants are available to them, they are not locked up, and they are accessible, and the person has choice in what those foods are. Secondly, it asks, does the home support people in creating their own daily schedules? And again, it goes back to a person's preferences. What does the person want to be doing throughout their day? Now, mind you, this does not mean that the person has to have every second of the day scheduled out, because I am assuming many of us do not have that. But what does the person want throughout the week, throughout the day, and to feel like they are active members within their community? And that really means that we need to dive in and discover, what does the person like to do? Third, do people have full access to common areas in the home, such as the kitchen, the dining area, laundry, and comfortable seating in shared areas? And really, this is all about, does the person's home feel like a home? Is it a place that they want to be in? Do they feel comfortable? Is it their own? Or do they feel like they're just living in someone else's? So ensuring that the person has access to all the living areas within their home whenever they feel the need to be in that space. And lastly, I know this is long, but do people have access to public transportation? And if public transportation isn't available, are there other resources available to them by which they can access the broader community to the same degree as individuals not receiving regional center services? We know that within the final rule, it is talking about community, it is talking about natural relationships or resources. So if the person is unable to use public transit for some reason, what do we have control over to provide the person with opportunities to still connect to community? Whether it's a ride, whether it's Uber, but what is positive and possible for that person to access their neighborhood, to access their community, and ultimately to what's important to them? How might we connect people? And we know that transportation can be a barrier. So really looking at what are the other resources available to that person and to us. I encourage you to connect with your team, really look over these questions, and ask yourself honestly, how are you doing? And if there's areas where you feel that you can enhance, have a discovery conversation on what that looks like. If there are barriers where you are answering no to these questions, have a conversation again on what's possible. Connect with your team, connect to the regional center, and explore what can we do. As I said, there is a video that you will see in this library, and this is called The Perfect Tweak. And the Perfect Tweak video was created to give a skill or a tool that will help meet HCBS requirement number 8. That video is available to you along with a do-it-yourself facilitator guide and activity packets. Please continue to check this library. We will update it with other HCBS requirements and the skills, tools, and resources to support you and your community within those requirements. Thank you very much.